Уважаемые гости, дамы и господа, просим занять свои места. Сессия начнется через 2 минуты.
Добрый день, уважаемые дамы и господа.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, dear guests, today we have got together today in a very interesting event, MOT. There are CDO, many unknown letters for all of you. Well, what it is all about and the reason why we are here today in this setup, well, that's a pretty new format for us. When we, as the state authorities, civil servants, try to convey in a simple language of what we have done and what we plan to do. And we try to explain that not with the use of some very rigid and regulatory language, but in common, simple words to demonstrate it the way it can be done, so that you can be understood. My name is Rostislav Kanyashkin. I'm the chairman of Innovation Technologies GSC. Have a round of applause for ourselves. Okay, what invisible government is the idea, is the concept within which we try to minimize the contacts of people and citizens with the government authorities and civil servants in every kind of interaction. Just recently, we made a survey or polling asking the question, what you believe the most successful electronic government to be, what will be the most convenient way for you to interact. And the trick is that upon the result of the polling, we realized that we don't want to talk to anyone, we don't want to go to anywhere, and we don't want to see anyone. We just want to have a couple of clicks and get what we want. And ideally, it would be nice if someone tells me what to do, how it can be done. More than 1,000 services have been digitalized, and there are so many services, and there are so many ways of getting services that no one knows exactly how to get the services. And I hope that many services, at least almost all services, will be in the proactive format. Before, there used to be state services, state authorities, and then the services were provided in the public service center. Then the GovMobile banking applications appeared. All of us are using these applications, and we can get services online. The next step is proactive. It means that you didn't send a request neither through the application or through eGov portal, but the government knows that you can get the service to get the social benefit. You can get you place in the kindergarten, or, for example, a child is born, and there are so many digital opportunities for you, for the government to enjoy this service service proactively. Just send me your consent or enter additional data. So today I just want to give you a detailed picture of the new processes that covers almost all civil authorities. This was the idea of Bogdan Batenbekovich when he joined the ministry, and he has been working there for 4 years now. And he told me that there is a discrepancy. It seems like a person was born, but the person has no individual identification number unless he gets the birth certificate. And that's a very important point, and not all people fully realize it and not fully accepted, but that's an important thing from identifications of a citizen perspective, especially of the existence of the citizen in a digital state, which we are. Unless you get the IN number, you cannot claim medical services or claim payment of benefits. You can't claim anything at all. That's why the pilot project was launched, and within half a year, in separate organizations of Astana, the individual identification numbers are issued, and we will try to scale it first for Astana and Astana region, and we plan that by the middle of this year, this process will be launched in almost all cities of Kazakhstan. Well, what will be the benefit of it is that a mother will be able to get a number for her child, and if you don't know what name will be of her child, to give a name to a child or not, some parents, a grandmother or a grandparents, meanwhile they are trying to choose the best name for your child, you don't have to wait for anything to get the birth certificate. The individual identification number will be issued automatically once the child is born. Well, what else? What do we have to do? We mentioned that in various occasions, and we are improving ourselves. The proactive child delivery service, you will get the notification. The mother will get the push notification, and the mother has right to enter name and surname of a baby and choose the choose something else, and then you will get the individual identification number and birth certificate. I would also like to hand it over to Rustem Audarbekovich. I failed to mention a couple of things that I had to do. That we are so cool. 93% of public services have been automated, and you can see it on the screen that we take place 9 for online services. This figure is for you to remember it. This is not only about the ratings, but about the indicators that we, as the country, achieved throughout 20 years of digitalization. I'd like to express my thanks to all in this room that make our country more digitalized. Thank you, Rahmet. There should have been a very fancy music. Thank you very much, Rostislav. And before I continue, guys, I have a small announcement for you. Within Demo Day, we'll have competition for the best question. Well, colleagues, my friends, colleagues will speak, and the most attentive person who will be very careful in listening after all talks will get a precious prize. When we ask question and you give the right answers. Thank you very much for pressing the buttons. Because of you, your users, we get good places in top ratings. The IN number appears earlier than the name. It may seem as an anecdote, but after the birth, those who have children or those who will have children, the next phase in their life is to take the place in the queues. So the queues are the thing like yesterday where there was a queue to the plane, and there was a big crowd of people somewhere in markets, somewhere in supermarkets or in other place, but the only thing that unites them is that you know where you go. It may seem many years ago like we automated a service queues in the kindergartens. And after that, a question appeared: to which kindergarten I want to go. In 2019, I had my personal case when my daughter was 1 year old. I wanted to take the queue to the kindergarten, but I didn't know what kindergarten to choose. After the fact that my queue was 800 something, and after a while it became 5,000 something, well, I asked myself, why shouldn't it take place automatically? You know, like you look at the map of your residence and you choose the closest kindergarten to your home or to your grandparents or to the place where you find more convenient, and you can find the best kindergarten available. So we decided to create a focus group of the parents who are under 7 years old baby, who have under 70 years old babies, and this idea was supported. We made it possible in eGov mobile app. Today you don't wanna choose something from the list. You just take a look at the map and find a place in the kindergarten that you find pretty convenient. And just imagine, there are around 3 million children under 7 years old, and around 181 children go to kindergartens, and other children are in queues. And the parents who have under 7 years old children can choose the place where to go. So these are the approaches that myself and my friends will speak about in the digitalization process. This is the methodology when you would work not for the service, not for the convenience of the public servant, but for your own convenience. So that's why we are going through a customer journey map to know the customer experience. This is the way how the new services and new products are provided, and my colleagues will speak about them. This is not only restricted to the kindergartens. There is another option to go to school. There are many educational institutions where you can go. And now I'd like to hand it over to Dinara. She will be talking about the services that they are implementing. Dear friends, that's a great pleasure for me to see my colleagues, very familiar faces in such yearly events. And thank you very much for coming to our event. It seems like you have interest, and I will outline what the government is doing in digitalization sphere. So the Ministry of Science and Higher Education work with. I'd like to ask the question: who remember these days when we were searching for the results of the single educational tests in somewhere outside? Raise your hands. Okay, so today, thanks to digitalization that was done last year by the Ministry of Education together with the Ministry of Digital Development, 500,000 certificates of single state exam are available in eGov. In addition to those examinations, the state service for submitting documents to the university was digitalized. So the thing that I faced in 2018, I just wanted to submit the documents. I asked for a leave at my work. Then I went to a university. I won't mention the number. I was standing in a queue, and by 5 p.m. when the registration was about to close, I approached to the reception desk, and it turned out that my set of documents was not full, and that's why I wasn't able to enroll to the university. And now you can submit all the documents via online. Now more than 13,000 undergraduates enjoy this service. So today, what we also plan around 60,000 notifications, 60,000 SMSs from 1414. We're pretty fortunate because those guys got scholarship. Now you can submit the documents via online services, not only if you are an undergraduate, but also if you are a master degree or you postgraduate student. These figures are so impressive that friends, parents, suggest your friends and relatives submitting the documents via online, via eGov. Okay, and when you graduate, when you enrolled in a university, you are seeking for the dormitory, seeking for the camp or food. This service will be provided proactively since next year. And in addition to dormitory, the next phase is the scholarship. The scholarships have been directly provided monthly to 160,000 students. And today, the government used to transfer money to a university, and then the university transferred money to students, and there used to be some delays, and now some money is transferred directly. And the final thing I'd like to outline is that together with my colleague from the Ministry of Defense, with Mr. Dorhan, we also launched the automatic deferment from the army service. Okay, and Dorhan, please, the floor is yours. Dear forum participants, welcome. Today I would like to outline the problems that used to be in the military service office that Dinara mentioned. 3,000 students, the autumn calling, and there will be also the spring calling. Around 700,000 students have been released from unnecessary instances, and you know that during the final examination times, you have a headache, and then you receive an SMS. You are called to the military service office, and otherwise, if you don't come, you will have to pay the fine. You go to the military office, and our colleagues will request the certificate, or you are called to the university to apply something, and as a student you have to take bus, you have to go somewhere and food, you lose a lot of time out there, and you are involved in this process this way. But now 700,000 students, the citizens who have disability service from the process.
And together with the ministry, we have established an information system. So we've identified who is a student at the university and institutes, and we relieve them from the military draft automatically. Our employees go to recruitment centers. They don't do tour. They don't do tours. So the document processing took a lot of expenses, and the process has been streamlined. And today, we are saving the government's funds. We are saving the time of our employees. Secondly, and the second thing, annually we we invite all people who have reached 18 years of age. They pass ECU. So every male citizen has to go through this. I mean, young males especially. So it's 24 documents in total. So that means it takes us a couple weeks to gather all of these, and then we have to go to the military recruitment center, and we have to pass the medical examination, and it takes a lot of time. So after 18, we reach 18 years old, we enter university, and some years later this information is not confirmed. So together with the Ministry of Labor, and so we started registering these people. And then the third question: people who have reached 27, but who hadn't served in the military, they don't need to get the military service certificate. They can enter their personal account in eGov and confirm their military status, military duty status. And the last thing that I wanted to tell you about the initiative that we have initiated. Last year, I did that as well. So 10 years ago, when I was transferred from Karaganda to Astana in my line of duty, head of HR department told me that I have to submit an inquiry that I'm registered in the military recruitment center, and I have to go to Karaganda, to Kazakh B district. Then I have to sign an application. Then I have to go there, and just for one piece of paper, it took us a long way and a lot of time. And now, to do this, even if you change your residence on the same day, you can automatically. So the registration in the military recruitment office is changed since we changed the residence, and around 1,600,000 people have automatically registered in the military recruitment offices, and all of this happened thanks to the digitization. And I hope my colleague would tell you about digitalization in the field of healthcare. Good afternoon, dear Digital Forum, Digital Almaty Forum participants. Please keep in mind numbers, as it has been said previously. So, what is healthcare? That's protection of health, literally. I hope it won't get in the way. So, the constitution of our country clearly states that every citizen has right to protect his or her health. But who should protect the health? One could say that this is the government's duty. The others that it's the duty of a citizen. But the truth lies in the middle. It should be a solidary responsibility distributed between the government and the citizen. So, respectively, today, thanks to digital technologies, people have full access to almost any piece of information, and we have such concepts like Dr. Google. Have anybody of you used Dr. Google? I guess we have that people in our audience today. So when somebody goes to a doctor for an assignment, very often people are checking in Google, is my doctor treating me correctly? So it's kind of funny and not so funny at the same moment. So we need to provide people with necessary information, but it should be authentic, it should be verified, because it's about our health. To implement solidary responsibility, we consider necessary to provide access to personal medical data for the citizens, and by this we are establishing digital relationship between the healthcare and the patient. And for this, the Ministry of Healthcare and the Ministry of Digital Development has launched e-Densoluk service, which is available in eGov Mobile. First, it has 13 sections about your health. General information, basically it's blood type, medical institutions to which you are assigned to, information about your doctor, about your medical insurance. I don't think that every one of you knows what's the name of your doctor, but you should know this information, which is important. So, 360 million services are being provided in polyclinics, and if you have been provided with some service, you will see that in the service. And starting this year, you will be able not just to see it, but to provide your feedback. You came to a doctor, you scanned a QR code, and you have verified whether you visited him or not. And more than 3 million treated cases we have in hospitals. If you get to a hospital, your treated case will also be available in this app, and you can provide your feedback and assess the quality of medical services provided to you. Electronic recipes, prescription, electronic prescription, so people can get the prescription via electronic service and get the medicine via QR code. And starting this year, you will be able to get paid prescriptions and purchase these medications in pharmacies. And fourth, you all know about the vaccination, and there's a national calendar of vaccinations, and in our service you can see what vaccinations have been done and which of them haven't. More than 500,000 medical records are being opened annually, and now employer would be able to see the fact of opening to see that the medical record file was open with the consent of a citizen, and the citizen would be able to see it in an application. And my colleague Yerbol Ospanov would tell in more detail about that. Thank you very much for your attention, and stay healthy. Good afternoon, dear forum participants, ladies and gentlemen. My colleague has presented e-Densoluk, and he showed information. And here you have the disability list and medical records. So it fits both employer and employee, and the digital service should be available in the digital era. And of course, the Ministry of Labor and Social Protection of Population implements a wide-scale project on the employment of people, and I would like to tell about a couple of them. In 2018, we have created yinbek.kz portal. The goal was to provide employers and job applicants efficient and simple system. We've managed to do that, and now around 4,000 people are being employed online via this portal. I would also like to say that we are working further, for example, at yinbek.kz platform, and I would like to know that this is a full-fledged online system. We have also improved skills.yinbek, and we have established business.yinbek for entrepreneurs, and also migration.yinbek.kz for migration issues, also career.yinbek.kz to promote your career in the market. Also, among the above mentioned, we have also online and hr.yinbek.kz. So as of today, we have around 6.7 million employees which are working in more than 400 organizations, and we have 200,000 people who are graduating colleges and are entering labor market, and around 2 million people are changing their job places. And I'd like to note that these 2 million, they're changing their job place, which shows that people are collecting information and submit it to employer. Usually it isn't done in paper. Then they submit it to the HR department, and then if everything is okay, an agreement is signed in paper between the parties. This takes time, and we wanted to optimize all this. So, for example, employer can quickly do this at hr.nbk.kz to get an access to the personal data of the job applicant with the consent of the applicants, of course. If, for example, the job applicant gives his or her consent at the platform, then the labor contract is being developed, and it is being sent to the applicant's personal account. If everything is okay, then the contract is signed via electronic signature or eGov mobile app. Then electronic agreement is automatically registered at yenbek.kz. Both parties who signed the agreement, they can see and download online this agreement. So in several minutes, you can have this issue sorted. Dear friends, all you need is smartphone very quickly in an optimal manner. You can get the service you need very quickly. At the end of 2023, we've started work with huge companies and corporations, and I would like to highlight the governments for the city. That this is a public corporation. So in pilot mode, we've worked this through. So in order to make it easier, we've launched this process, and now our colleague Arman would continue to tell you about this. Thank you very much for your attention. I'd like to give the floor to Arman Kenjigaliyev. Good afternoon, dear forum participants. First of all, thank you very much for finding a time to visit our session, and our colleagues from Ministry of Labor. Thank you very much, dear colleagues. You've tell about the online digital file, and I'd like to tell about the real estate registration and digital mortgage. So where do we look for real estate? So it's basically it's either the primary real estate or secondary real estate. So how it happens in the first instance? So how do we purchase apartment? So a man goes to a construction company, he meets a manager, he picks an apartment.
So the price is given to the manager, and the manager signs the agreement and goes to the state corporation, Goskorporatsiya, which checks the validity and correctness of the data in field within 4 days. And in 3 days, the person becomes the owner of the flat. And we decided to revise this process, and we found a solution that was shortened from 3 days to 2 hours. Blockchain and smart contracts appear instead, and now the buyers can go to the developer's site, they can enter the flat. The smart contracts are form that are being signed by electronic digital signature, and the process takes not longer than 2 hours. We shorten many times the way the flats are bought, and there are 27,000 transactions like that. That's pretty long. Not all the time citizens can buy the apartment, and we decided to revise this process, and we decided to simplify these things. So how the process looks like: a person goes to the bank and submits a lot of documents just to get the mortgage, and after that the agreement of the mortgage is signed. Then it goes to the notary, it pays the preliminary contribution, and then he signs the document within 3 days, and normally it takes 1 month, not to mention that the person had to stay in long queues. We also revised this process. and we also got the support from the digitalization like other colleagues. And now in the partner banking sites, you can enter your data, choose an apartment, choose the seller, and then the bank will verify your solvency, and then provide the purchase and buying contract. There will be an automatic registration, and it will take 1 day. We shortened the process from 30 days to 1 day. Even the apartment evaluation and assessment process will take 1 day. You will not have to go to assessor to assess the apartment. Normally there were around 77,000 transactions in this format. 77,000 people certified an apartment within 1 day. I would like to tell you, with such kind of registration, probably you can be concerned about the solvability of the buyer. The solvency of the buyer will be protected by the bank. So the money only paid when the contract is certified. I just only mentioned a small number of initiatives implemented by our organization, but we are also looking for many other solutions that will simplify the lives of our citizens. And we will also try, like state authorities, to implement the listening government concept. And now I'd like to hand it over to my colleague from the ministry. From the ministry, Big Bulat, Minister of Justice. Beg Bulat, Moldabekov, Vice Minister. Dear guests, hello everyone. Today I'd like to share the projects with you, and before I do that, I'd like to give you an example. My colleague earlier, he worked in a ship, and he was somewhere far away from home in the sea, and he was outside the country, and he had to issue the power of attorney. But you know, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of money to buy tickets, to cover a long distance, like a long way. Now through GovMobile you can use these projects. You call to the notary office, and the notary checks all your documents, verifies them, and then she sends you the power of attorney. So here I'd like to tell you that it will appear in the list of digital documents. As of today, we prepared and have already processed around 40,000 power of attorneys. You don't have to go anywhere. You just save your time. This is like the imperative of time. And I'd like to tell you about the following project. Is the attestation. There are many students, young people among you. There are many people who want to be lawyers, who want to be notaries, and in addition to universities, you have to go through practice, and then in the justice department you have to defend your project or something of this kind. Here there should be a human factor related to the corruption, and here, in order to get rid of the human factor, you come there yourself, and you can use the computer to pass the exam. If you fail, you will have to pass it again in 10 days, but the commission could join once a year. And then you have to wait another project, and here there is legal support. You can choose the lawyers, you can get the necessary information about the lawyers. And besides summarizing, I would also like to tell you that we have the robot project. So this project saves your money of our citizens. For example, to million citizens can use it. So they simplified the work of legal advisors. So more than 50,000 cases have been examined. And I would also like to tell you that, again, one thing that we passed this work to the robotics system, the robots does this work. Thank you very much. And now I'd like to hand it over to the next speaker, Vice Minister of Finance. Dear participants of the forum, I'd like to welcome everyone on behalf of the Ministry of Finance. Probably my speech will not be that long as compared to my colleagues because the key feature, the key function of our ministry is aimed at the state and the business. So we digitalize the budgeting process, state borrowing processes, and many other processes that are not that visible to other citizens. So there are also processes for business. There is also a system of Committee of State Revenues, as well as the Committee of Public Procurements, and so on and so forth. But today I'd like to mention one of the cases. The one is electronic queue. So, has anyone from you ever faced the issue when you travel abroad, for example, to China with your own vehicle, with your own car, for example, to Turkmenistan or Uzbekistan? You remember when you come there, you will see a long queue of many kilometers when you go there. And there are also smart people, smart-ass people who sell their queues, places in the queue, and we had to do something about it. And we eradicated this issue. Since April 2023, we introduced the electronic queue system in 13 crossing points. Now you don't have to go to there. You don't have to spend overnight there. Now you can go to Korgao KZ, Cargo Ruksat, in the portal called KZ, and you will see everything there. For example, I go to China through a particular crossing. I will see now, okay, there are 50 cars there. The average throughput capacity is this much, and I know it will take me 4 days. I know that, and I book a queue in one week. For example, by the time I come in 4 weeks, I will enjoy my time. For the cargo transportation, probably some of you encountered that there are some there are some permissions from foreign countries. They gave a certain number of forms for the drivers, and this number was limited, and this system was pretty corruptive, and many people bought these permissions and then resolved them. Now this issue has been resolved thanks to this system. Okay, what are the advantages of this system? They just, if you want to sign up there, you need to follow 4 simple steps. First is to register in the system, sign up. This is one-time thing. Second, you have to select a border crossing point. Third, you select the date and time of crossing. And 4, describe your vehicle and the driver's personal details. After that, you can easily cross the border. And now let's talk about the statistics. If we take 2 periods that are pretty similar to each other, before introducing the EQ system and after, the throughput capacity increased in 1.5 times. Before the system, 300,000 cars passed, and after 450,000 cars passed. Besides that, since January 1 this year, the queues are chargeable, and all the money and fees collected go to the state revenue. Around 120 million contributions and fees went to the state budget. We not only eliminated the corruption cases, but also we found a way how to replenish the government budget. And another thing that is pretty unfortunate, I would say, probably you know that the head of the state mentioned the issue of excessive loans and credits of our population. Some people took many loans. They drew themselves into the borrowing pit, and they couldn't get anything from that, and they couldn't get any service, or they couldn't travel abroad. And since January 1, the law on the bankruptcy of natural entities was introduced that allowed them to get rid of the debts burden. And we knew that there would be a lot of requests, and we had to be ready for that. That's why we implemented a special service that is called from the March 1, 2023, when all people can submit their documents, and then over a certain period of time there will be ruling whether the person is considered bankrupt or not. 80,000 requests have been submitted, and around 8,000 people were proven bankrupted for 16 billion KZT. But probably it may seem sad, but let's be a little bit optimistic. And now I'd like to hand it over to my colleague, Deputy Minister Sapar Sarsenov.
Dear friends, good afternoon. I was standing there thinking, my colleagues in part of digitalization, not just government agencies but also private partners, are quite serious in developing their digital projects, and did a lot of things and make a lot of fuss. And the cyber cybercrime unfortunately is also on the rise. And Ministry of Internal Affairs have managed to successfully investigate such kind of crimes. And you know that in recent years, last year and the year before that, we've been flooded with the fraud schemes of telephone frauds, and we've managed to block this kind of calls, and we've blocked 43 million of them. We have a cyber police department, and the most important here is that a citizen would address police in a very short time. So we have recently blocked 220 million Kazakhstani tenge, and 650 million has been returned to our citizens. And the most important, all these cyber crimes. So cybercrime is growing due to negligence of the citizens. So I call our citizens not to provide their data to these cyber frauds. And the next project that we're implementing is the CCTV coverage. So quite recently, there have been just around 200,000, and right now it's more than 1 million of them. Could you please show once again? 1,300,000, 15,000, and almost 30% of them. 30% of them were made a part of the operational unit, which prior to that had only 7,000 video cameras. So we've identified more 550,000 administrative violations and investigated more than 10,000 crimes. And our plans to have around 3 million video cameras. And you know, this concept of the all-seeing eye. So I call you all to obey the law and live in a state of law. And we provide 10 million services a year and 40,000 services a day. You know that our services became very popular via the apps of the second-tier bank. You can register a vehicle within 15-20 minutes. You can register in any apartment within just 1 minute. I wouldn't dwell on that for too much. And next project is the safety on the roads. Many of you are drivers, and unfortunately, many of you break the rules of the road safety, which may be the cause of someone's death. And we're working quite intensively. And several years ago, we had police officers walking the streets with radars, and we have around 220,000 video cameras that watch the road traffic. To be completely honest, in our country, so we have more than 5 million cars registered in our country. So, and the infrastructure in the cities and between them leaves to wish for better. And of course, the transit potential is growing as well, and road safety is quite low, to be honest. And the most important is that the drivers, they exceed the speed, they break the rules, and we watch all that. But before that, it was done in a static mode. We were just simply watching this, and then we would send them a fine if some rule has been broken. And we have launched Korhau project last year. We connect to cameras. Our policeman, could you please come here? So this is our digital police officers who have all necessary instruments to identify offenders in literally nearby, which connect to cameras, and the cameras inform us about the offenders in real-time mode. And to be honest, previously our colleagues would randomly stop some cars. Right now we can see all the offenders in real-time mode. So these are people who are not paying fines, people who with false car plates. And we can identify people who are not paying their fines for quite a time. So, for example, reckless driver. If a car on a high speed passed 2 traffic lights, the mobile app would inform us about it, and our police officers start responding. They would stop the car. First, we take this driver from traffic, and we can check whether he has a license, how many rules has he violated recently in a proactive mode. But at the same time, I want to call you not to break the rules, so you wouldn't have to deal with the Ministry of Internal Affairs. And in conclusion, dear colleagues, I would like so I have my final speech. Quite recently, we had a session of the Ministry of Internal Affairs with the participation of the head of state, and he sincerely told that he dreams and wants Kazakhstan to become a cyber country. So from the presentations of my colleagues and what I have seen at this exhibition, we are on this way, and I am sure that and confident that in the most close future we would see ourselves living in flourishing state. Thank you very much, Sakin Japarovich. So we in Astana forgot when the car is stopped. Only we break the rules. Despite he has birthday today, let's congratulate him with a round of applause. The guys are trying to make so that our law enforcement would work proactively. Thank you very much for listening to the presentation by our speakers. And now let's get to the contest block. We have volunteers in this audience, and we would start with the audience questions. Whoever has questions. A microphone, please. And who do you want to ask? That would be a question to the second speaker. Regarding the military recruitment center. Darhan. Microphone. So regarding the cards, you were showing that. So you come from Karaganda to Astana, but on the map I saw not Karaganda, but Kızılar'da. Why it was so? A good question, thank you. In fact, this is just an animation. It has nothing to do with Karaganda or my story. We just wanted to demonstrate that a man can move from one city to another. And thank you very much for the question. I forgot from our speeches. So in the queues to kindergarten, you can check it on eGov online, eGov mobile in online mode. So we've launched it together with the Ministry of Enlightenment. This pilot has been successfully implemented by IBAT. So this is a person who successfully launched this project. Darhan, maybe you have questions. Well, the price is a surprise, you know. Yeah, yes, I would ask questions. I hope you were very attentive during the presentations. How many students have we relieved from this excessive walkabouts? Who is the moderator here? 270,000. No, that's incorrect. A year. I'm asking about an annual figure. Louder, please. Around 700,000, including disabled people. Yes, yes, because we have spring and autumn military draft. Thank you very well. We congratulate you with your deserved reward. Thank you very much, Darhan. Another question from the audience. Ahmed. So I have my hand in my hand. I want to ask Mr. Arman regarding the real estate. Should I speak in Russian or in Kazakh? The way you see fit. So you've said that one can register real estate using blockchain technologies and smart contracts. And I'm interested as a citizen regarding the decentralized network. So what network exactly do you use to do that? You said that this is a decentralized. That means so there are security issues concerned, right? Did you understand my question? Have I been clear enough? Thank you very much. Indeed, they use Ethernet network, but the data that are provided in like construction companies and real estate companies, but the owner information is generated in the construction company and in the side of the public agency. So the blockchain element is formed in the segment. I have a question about citizens, about the government for the citizens. I have recently registered a vehicle, and I had to pass the custom procedures and register the car. So according to standard, it shouldn't take long, but yet again, certificates, all necessary payments, all this could be integrated. You know, when we would get to a point when a custom clearance and registration of a vehicle would be done as seamlessly and productive as many other things. Thank you very much for the question. Vehicle registration is quite a sensitive issue, yes, because it includes registration fee, custom payments, and other kind of fees, and there are issues related to some unlawful acts. So we're doing integration with the Ministry of Finance, so that you don't have to prove any payments. So as soon as you, as soon as you provided the documents, you will be able to do the registration. Thank you very much for the question. I think we'll be able to solve that as soon as possible. Yes, this process is related to a real situation. There is a separate question whether you buy it from another car owner or you buy it from a dealership. And if, dear friends, we do focus groups, and last year we had 42,000 citizens who participated in focus group interviews. And please look your feed. We would consider this case as well. So thank you very much for your question. Yes. So that's the telephone charter for your question. So that's the question to the audience from Arman Shukanich. Now the question from me. I hope you were very attentive. Organizers told me that maybe you'll be able to get the mortgage apartment, but I think these are headphones. So how much one can earn, how much one can what one can do using the digital mortgage? 77,000. Let's give it this opportunity to a girl. Thank you very much, dear friends. Another questions from the audience? No more questions? Then one question from the guys. One second. Dear friends, how many services a year are provided in polyclinics? I don't know what this sound is. Raise your hands. Yes. 3 million. No, you're wrong. Well, in polyclinics a year, how many services? 3.5 million. Next one. You can shout it from your place. 35. 360 million services a year. Thank you very much. And we have another question from our wonderful digital lady, Dinara. Please, the floor is yours. How many digital national test results have been published? No, it was the very first number in my presentation. Shout it from your place. How many? 12,000. A dozen thousand. No, results of the national tests. They have been published in electronic documents.
Больше!
More. Yes, right. Well, thank you very much. We have a question to Dinara Renatovna, please. Dear all, hello. You mentioned about the military service office, about the accidents, about the mortgage. You were talking a lot about digitalization in Kazakhstan and the way we turn Kazakhstan to the digitalization, but we failed to mention the digitalization in schools to improve the quality of the education, to make it beneficial for the teachers, for them to get rid of papers, just for them to work with school children. Will there be digital services with special apps that could improve the work of the teachers? Well, are you a teacher? Do you work at school? Well, yes, I'm a school teacher. Well, thank you very much. Yeah, because we are talking about the higher educational institutions, this year we want to pilot a new app with the artificial intelligence driven, where you can upload any studying material and you can retrieve the syllabus or curriculum. As a result, everything will be in an automated mode. So we want to start this pilot in March based on GP. Thank you very much. Well, that's a very topical question. You know, the president instructed us to develop this one in Kazakh language, and next year in the pilot mode at schools we will make it possible. So as of today, it is like that. Thank you very much. So I want to give a gift to a schoolboy who will get excellent mark as a result, A mark. So we also have a question from the Ministry of Labor from Nirbal. Hello everyone. Yes, give your answer from the hall. So we also have a number of questions. There are many questions, and that's a good thing. I can ask it either in Kazakh or Russian. Well, how many young people are there in the labor market annually? 250,000. 200. 2 million. Friends? More? Yakuzhus, 200? 200,000, very close. 230 people go to youth platform annually, employment platform. Thank you very much for your questions. Thank you very much for your part. My name is Saken Serjapavich. I have a question to you. My name is Alexander Sokolov. First and foremost, happy birthday. I can't help but congratulating on this occasion. So you demonstrated us the modern policeman with tablets and equipment. May I know whether it impacts and affects the decline in corruption among policemen that supervise law and order? Probably we can use the big data or machine learning to understand the way policemen behave, what kind of requests they made, what kind of individual identification number they entered in the database, and to analyze how many fines they have issued. I believe it to be the most important question, because we always face that when policemen on the road extort briberies and they put this money into their pockets. So we want the digital policeman to develop in this regard and to be beneficial for the government. Well, thank you very much for your questions. Thank you very much for your congratulations. Well, there are multiple times decrease in the corruption cases among policemen, because the policeman will never stop you with no valid reason. Well, but if you drunk, if you took the steering wheel, and if policeman stopped you, and if someone wants to make it resolved for us, we are living in the rule of our law state, and we have to abide the rules. Okay, I invite everyone not to violate the rules. I can see how every policeman worked, how many fines did he or she issued, but unfortunately the digitalization is not everywhere, and sometimes our policemen misuse it, and we have evidences for that, but we are working on it. And I would like to reassure you that no one will stop you or arrest you, detain you with no valid reason, and we are working on it. Well, thank you very much. Not the pocket, but the bag. Well, Alexander, I think you can pass it to anyone through Flip KZ. Okay, friends, before we conclude, I'd like to show you a small video. I know that all of us use smartphones and we press buttons, but what is all behind the screen? What is that? What is it behind the scenes from behind your screen? And just a small video about data and business analytics that make our lives easier. Thank you.
Раз. Уважаемые коллеги, добрый день. Через минут 10 мы начнем. Просим.
Hello, everyone. I'd like to proceed everyone to the hall. Thank you. And please turn your mobile phone into silent mode.
Уважаемые коллеги, через 5 минут начнем.
Okay, dear colleagues, we start in 5 minutes.
Да. Саламатсыздар ма?
Dear ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, good afternoon. Hello everyone, welcome to our session. I'd like to thank you for has a very interesting topic today. The journey of digital transformation of TCO, or TCO's digital transformation journey. We have speakers, the panelists of this session today.
A huge thanks to our colleagues who have traveled from overseas. I know it's been a quite long flight. We truly appreciate all your effort. Today is a special day. We're at the point where new ideas meet new possibilities in Kazakhstan. That's why we are hosting Digital Energy Transformation Station. Добрый день, уважаемые коллеги, рады приветствовать.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, digital transformation of the consumable resources, energy resources in our country. That's why our panel will be hosted by the international organizations, will be attended by foreigners, and we will discuss all components of this industry, including oil, gas, and nuclear energy. First and foremost, I'd like to introduce you our speakers, Bakhtjan Ilyasov, Vice Minister of the Energy of the Republic of Kazakhstan, Kurnakush Yesenov, Deputy Director of TCO, Olga Tostanova, Vice President for Digitalization in the Engineering Division of Rosatom. Sorry, and I'd like to apologize for that. The next speaker is Antonio Testoni, Commercial Director, General Electric, and Olga has just joined us. Elvira Korakbaeva, Kigok, Digitalization Director, and Karazin Deniz, Senior Engineer of Process Engineering of KPO. And I'd like to hand it over with the first word to Bakhtjan Ilyasov. Thank you very much, Adilkhan. Dear ladies and gentlemen, dear guests, first and foremost, I'd like to thank the organizers for this opportunity to speak and to talk about this panel session. That's a very important session for us because the one day or day before yesterday we decided to revise our digitalization strategy, and we decided to talk about what we plan to do and not what we have done in digitalization, and give a certain message to the market players of the IT community, as well as to thank our guests and colleagues for confirming the attend of this event. Yeah, it works. Well, just to start with, a few words about the statistics. This is the information in the center. I just want to show you the pie chart in the center. The role of the energy sector in the Republic of Kazakhstan is pretty significant, and today the energy complex is one of the leaders for attracting direct foreign investments, and it takes the dominant position in export terms, and the share of the GDP numbers are fluctuating. That serves as a positive signal towards the diversification of the economy, but everything is pretty reliant on the oil prices. The sector of the fuel and energy is pretty intensive and conservative. After exploring foreign experience of digitalization and transformation in the energy complex, we realized that the ideas may seemingly be different, but in terms of automation, every country develops its own strategy. And today, Kazakhstan is not that illustrative in terms of digitalization level, but nevertheless, there are some relevant countries for us, such as the Russian Federation. Or we always look at the experience of the Russian Federation not only from the technological similarity of our equipment, the single energy system with the parallel Central Asian countries. Today, we also developed our vision towards the digitalization of the industry. In a nutshell, fuel and energy complex gives us a lot informative details in various areas and meet the needs as efficient as possible. And it also exercises the features of control that we can do through remote monitoring, and in this is very high. The next level is sectorial level, where the energy and industrial complex is cooperating with the Ministry of adjusted based on the orders from the industry. In the energy complex, there are the heating season and preparing to the winter coincides with the harvesting period from the agricultural users, and there is also a layer of corporate efficiency. I mean the efficiency of the energy complex related to the training of personnel for different periods, as well as the internal efficiency of every enterprise, because the automation at a given enterprise has a layer of industrial systems and corporate systems, and the well-organized ways of digital tools should work in all other spheres and should guarantee the efficiency of maturity. To tell you the following thing, we should be very honest to each other, and we should deal with this issue so that the digital technologies would meet its important role in providing energy safety. Is designed for the users, the end users. So that's from the distribution, and there is also the value-added chain in the oil and gas sector, and it means we don't know the state of the facilities as well as their supply units they should provide for the reliable supply. We, as the Ministry of Energy, we set ourselves the goal for this year to introduce the goal-oriented management that is data-driven, that will allow the industries and our baseline units to work well. It doesn't mean that this work is not going on, but the supplier of this data are the people on sites, people in fields that submit the reports in digital form, but with the use of aggregators. We need to collect all this data from the fields in the automated but not in the manual level. There is a great job, there is a great scope of work to be done where we need the cooperation with the IT industry players and actors, and we need to work on the work out the issues, and the market should understand the way how we provide the information. Today we face the fact that the market players do not provide details voluntarily. They are afraid that the government will involve in their operations. That's why they are so reluctant. But this is not the way it is, because our layer of interests ends where we are satisfied with the data to ensure safety. What we're gonna do to make it happen? The digitalization policy will be aimed at 6 key areas, such as energy, oil and gas, and we plan to create the platform. We are working on these platforms, and they have already been introduced in the piloting mode, which you can see in our exhibition stand. So we split these platforms in the energy smart grid is the working name of it, and the product is called Digital Energy Platform for Oil and Gas. There is also a product that is related to employment policy. We are intended to work with the universities, but also to promote and transfer technologies through the interaction and the development of the research and development projects. And regulation is also an important thing, because all the details for data collection will be worked out, will be improved on a regulatory level, so that this competence is provided in the regulations, and to impose the responsibilities for not providing the reports in the digital format. In this way, we are also working in harmonizing international standards of MEC, ISO, and others. We are also looking at the Eurasian Economic Union standards, and we also develop the digital code that is being developed upon the instructions of the head of the state. And the industrial sector, with the use of artificial intelligence, will also be improved from our side. The data analysis and cybersecurity, like I told you, we are introducing the discredited management based on the situational center, and it's extremely important for us to always get the up-to-date information from the fields. Based on this data, we can prepare the predictive analysis and predictive events in the future, and protect this data through the ATSEP. There are also we will also certain gaps related to the loan get from the assets and technology transfer. So the technology transfer is pretty relevant today, because according to the data from the Ministry of National Economy, just to modernize the networks, the investments of 2 trillion tenge will be needed for the modernization alone, and we need to invest in this project so that we can allot our capacities for the upcoming 3 years. But these challenges, to be more active. I want the market players to be more active, because we are ready to discuss, we are ready to develop the roadmap, we are ready to change it, we are ready to modify it and complement it with new ideas. And today the Ministry of Energy created the Office of Digital Transformation, and this office is pretty open for other market players. It has the market structure, market backgrounds, and we can work together with you to develop the initiatives and work on them jointly. Thank you. Well, thank you very much, Bashan Esenovich, for this work, and I would also like to listen in digitalization. As far as I know, you prepared a short video to start with, and after this video, you will be talking more about the development itself.
Hello, everyone. It's our pleasure to represent the 2023 KTL2 turnaround team here in front of the 3 new mold sieve dryers that were fabricated right here in Kazakhstan. This transition from old to new, the adoption of digital tools to improve our efficient execution of turnarounds.
Қауіпсіздік біз үшін ең жоғары басымдылыққа ие. Электронды рұқсат қағаз жүйесі жұмыстарды қауіпсіз бастауға дайындық үрдісін оңтайландырады. Ал электронды іске қосар алдында қауіпсіздікті тексеру жүйесі жұмыс орындарының барлық талаптар орындалғаннан кейін ғана өндіріске кері берілуін қамтамасыз етеді.
Осы күндері заманауи цифрландыру жұмысы білетіндей күрделі жөндеу жұмыстарын білуіміз қажет. Сол себепті заманға сай күрделі жөндеу тобы, соның ішінде жоспарлау тобы, түрлі цифровизациялау шараларын қолдануда. Бұл біздің ең басты құралдарымыздың бірі примавераның визуализациясы болып табылады. Бұл тақта бәрімізге, әсіресе басшылыққа тұтастай айқын мәлімет алуға, жұмысты талдауға, қадағалауға үлкен мүмкіндік береді. Қай критикалық жұмыстарды тездету керек деген сияқты тез мәліметтер алып, жақсырақ шешімдер қабылдауға болады. Қорыта келгенде қалмай, алдағы уақытта цифровизациялау жолында жұмыстарымызды жалғастырамыз.
Тейпірі қосымшасы біздің жоспарланған жұмыстардың орындалу барысы туралы есеп беру әдісімізді өзгертті. Бизнес-серіктестер енді жұмыс аймағында жүріп жаңартуларды енгізе алады. Ал ол жаңартуларды ТШО жоспарлаушылары мен үйлестірушілері тексеріп растайды.
Также у нас есть приложение Shift and Over Notes, с помощью которого мы обмениваемся информацией между сменами, которая обеспечивает лучшее взаимодействие между всеми членами команды и предоставляет доступ к самым последним обновлениям о статусе текущих работ. Эти сведения доступны на 3 языках, а имеющийся у нас дэшборд по количеству людей на капремонте помогает нам своевременно распределить ресурсы согласно последним изменениям в текущем плане.
Переход к цифровизации приводит не только к внедрению новых инструментов, но также повышает эффективность, расширяет возможности и помогает достичь совершенства на пути к выполнению всех задач.
Добрый день.
Good afternoon. So before I would introduce myself and I would start my presentation, I would like to make a small remark on this presentation. So 3 things are very important. When the presentation are in Kazakh, it is very important to have it in Russian and in English. That's the success of every presentation. So in this presentation, it had 2 terms. KTL, this is one of our factories that have been built. The construction has been started during Soviet era and then it has been completed. So these are comprehensive technological lines. And if you noted, we don't call subcontractors, we call them business partners because we provide funds and they provide us technologies, human resources and service, and maintenance, which once again shows we are always progressing. We're not stopping. Good afternoon, dear participants of the forum. Thank you for... So first of all, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to participate. It's my first time. I'm really impressed, not just with the content of the material, but the presence of the foreign guests, which says that the geography and the scale of digitization are expanding, not just within the country, but through cooperation with other countries and neighboring countries. What you have seen in this video clip is one of the quite memorable moments of our major overhaul, which shows the company's pathway to transformation and digitization. Throughout our 30 years history, we are the operator for one of the most comprehensive and difficult oil and gas fields, Tengiz and Korolev, and we are implementing cutting-edge technologies with account of our production processes. And let me update you on TCO's digital transformation efforts. So the priority is safety is a key priority for us, and this principle extends to our approach to digital transfer. Our company have shifted to digital permit to work, EPTW. So this transition has significantly reduced paperwork and allow us to focus on the actual work and in ensuring that safety requirements are understood and safeguards are in place and functional prior to commencement of the work. And using our private LTE, LoRaWAN, the IIoT, and industrial Wi-Fi networks, we can provide immediate access to any available data using smartphones or tablets. So, for example, during the last turnaround of KTL, we've managed to, within a month, which in its turn contributed to this safe and sure. And we prepare ourselves to operate new facilities, new oil and gas fields, and we are evolving from diagnostic to predictive analytics. So we are applying this approach in our preventative maintenance program, thus enhancing field decision making, supported with mobile situational awareness. That has been launched last year, when we celebrated our 30th anniversary, and we're really proud of our achievements. And right now we are at the stage of implementing the third generation, the project of future expansion. And one of the fields is called IOCC, which is integrated. Would be a central link in managing all production, make decisions starting with reservoir management to marketing and transportation, and delivering our products to international markets. And next thing is the number of Chief all-in-one environmental reporting tool, and which is basically an improvement in maintenance and management and reporting to our flare and gas balance. Digital culture, which is continuous performance improvement and maximizes value. So our Digital Scholar program is a great initiative, which plan we are partnering with MIT, United States, and the Rice University to offer 1-year master degrees program for our employees. Scholars have received TCO support to pursue their master's degree. 5 of them are already working in critical positions to support initiatives like digital twin and machine learning. We're also and a TCO Digital Pioneers program. Colleagues to learn new skills, gain fresh business insights, and build their own digital tools. Additionally, we are organizing internal hackathons, so these events are not just competitions. They become platforms for collaboration and innovation between different teams and departments. These programs demonstrate that all our employees have the chance to improve their digital skills. They're not just learning, they're actively contributing to solving real business challenges and adding value to TCO. Thanks to this approach, everyone from our team has the opportunity to become a part of a digital transformation journey, and we are incredibly proud of this journey and the results that we have achieved in collaboration with our partners, and that is shareholders and the government of the Republic of Kazakhstan. So this is a vivid example of the power and impact of a successful partnership. Despite ongoing global challenges, I am confident that by working together and leveraging technology, we will continue to innovate, driving progress in the energy sector and contributing to the advancement of Kazakhstan. Thank you. So are really open to digitization. I know that you have an operational center where all information is being pulled into data lakes, and digitalization from our colleagues. First of all, I would like to thank you for the opportunity to participate. I think it's really great that such a session has been organized, and I think that the Ministry of Energy demonstrates such an open policy and strives to preserving its strategy and exchange experiences and knowledge is really a key to success. And what I have already heard today in the previous speech means indeed that the largest players of the energy market really are not just playing with the toy of digital technology, but started getting effect and getting benefits from using the digital technologies, and they feel the how efficient it is for business. And I represent a state-owned corporation, Rosatom. I don't know whether my presentation is seen or not. I represent the division of Rosatom Corporation, which is involved into building energy blocks for nuclear power plants all over the world. I would tell a couple of words about Rosatom. Nuclear energy takes around 20% of the market in the energy balance of our country, and we have a lot of business areas. Is also medicine and others along with that. And currently, and in order to manage this portfolio of orders, one cannot avoid digital technologies. And on this screen you see the countries where we have just completed a nuclear power plant in Belarus. Right now, quite actively, the projects in Egypt, Turkey, and Hungary are being built. So we have around 45,000 people working. Number of suppliers and subcontractors, dozens of thousands of people who make their contribution to the implementation of scale. Every energy block is around 10 million elements, and every one of these, one has to understand that when you get to the design solution has been adopted, technical parameters, how the elements align within the model are aligned. So a couple of years ago, we've decided platform basically covers all our processes, starting with design to putting into operation. So we gather information and we submit full virtual model of an energy block to our customers and institutions and organizations for decades to come, and why they needed it correctly. And brain of the project construction. On this picture, you see countries and projects where these technologies are being applied. Every one of these solutions, but overall, this is the platform that basically connects the production processes, helps to these solutions. We get a digital model at the output. It was very interesting for me to hear about digital reporting in the previous presentation. I wanted to draw your attention that, of course, that for the customers and regulators, transparency of processes is of only source of truth, and we are actively working on that as well. Visualization of the construction progress is also actively applied in our platform, and so at any level of details we can show the construction progress and what is on time and what is being delayed, and where we have to take corrective steps urgently. So automation of construction and mounting and assembly works. So there are quite detailed schedules of works with the subcontracting organizations, and as well as at your facilities. The information before that was about our multi-D platform, and these are new market technologies that at the facility we use IoT both for transport vehicles and for routes. And the last one that I wanted to tell about, also on the exchange of experience, for us as a large corporation and sometimes a state-owned corporation, it is quite hard to apply current market technologies, and with new technologies in the market, we run a pilot with them, and after that we make a decision whether we would use them or not. Of digital solutions, we're open to considering new solutions and how this mechanism of innovation introduction may be applied. Thank you very much. May I have a comment? To make an emphasis that digital twins right now is very important. Why, for example, at the design stage or expect design documentation aware of, and it could be a problem. And the digital twin is really important to avoid correlation someplace. So our recent trip on exchange of experience into Russia, and Olga Dmitrievna showed us the IT ecosystem of Rosatom. In my view, I wouldn't say that I have involved in the nuclear energy. In my view, this is #1 company, not just on international projects, but also on development and nuclear power plants, but even cities. So they have digital twins of cities, and in this regard are entering markets independently. So Olga Dmitrievna once again, and of course it's clear. So in a long-term project of energy balance, we have a share of nuclear energy, but the final decision would be made after a particular referendum. But even right now, we're considering at the digital ecosystem overall for nuclear energy, and we're really impressed by the results that you've achieved. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's a great privilege and honor to receive you, and my colleagues undoubtedly ready to demonstrate you the IT landscape for smart cities and digital solutions that can represent an interest for you. Well, fine. And I believe that our colleague Anthony will speak about the world practice of what is happening all over the world.
So the mic is yours.
Salam everyone. First of all, I would like to thank you, the Ministry, for inviting us with a local technology player. Great opportunity to connect with the existing customer and hopefully with new customer as well after this event. Having said so, I would like to introduce what GIRNOVA experience is about digital and the digital supporting heavy industries such as power generation, oil and gas, in the decarbonization. So, quick intro about GIRNOVA. GIRNOVA is a spin-off of General Electric and is consisting of 12 businesses. As you can see, the businesses are covering the energy environment quite widely from an equipment point of view. So you see that we are providing equipment for grid, we are providing equipment for energy, both conventional and renewables, but also we are providing since 2000, early 2000, digital solution, software solution to support and enable the transformation in the energy market. The numbers are quite big, are global number, but on the other side, and we have as well a presence here in Kazakhstan. The GE Digital mission is really to of their industrial asset. We need, our customers are mainly complex customers. We need a complex asset, we need a complex processes, we need a high number of assets. So you can see which are the market where we are referring to. And in terms of digital twin, we are unparalleled library of all the major players are with success. In chemicals, oil and gas. The market we are referring to is actually also the one that is causing more emissions in the world. It's coming from the market we are targeting to. Which are the challenges that we see in our customer? Definitely there is the commodity price fluctuation. I mean, we see up and down of the energy price, oil price, forever challenge. We heard about it in TCO presentation. And the third one is actually the regulatory, how our fluctuation digital and specifically asset performance management solution can help in reducing and optimizing your maintenance cost. Adopting risk-based inspection, condition-based maintenance, that's the way to optimize the maintenance cost. Preventing unavailability, that's a second way to optimize the revenue and to mitigate the price fluctuation. Availability, keeping the availability high way to increment the availability of your plants. And finally, prevent any performance drop. Performance drop is key, right? So we need to have not only the plant available, but also the plant performing at the best of their capacity with the best efficiency. On the safety and healthy, digital can help in avoiding, first of all, avoiding unplanned event. Unplanned event normally translates in safety and health issues. And clearly, avoiding unplanned event is a plus from a safety and health point of view. Checking real-time functionality is a topic that Digital is able to cover it. And finally, on ping of all the information, images, data that you can, which normally determine the priorities in your daily operation, which is the routine maintenance activity I have to perform, and which level of priority. On the regulatory framework and environmental compliance, I think that the timing is fine, but the alignment between the government, the technology provider, the player is crucial. Otherwise, the transformation will take a lot of time. Let me highlight what I believe is a mandatory investment nowadays for heavy industries. Asset performance management, but not any asset performance management. A composable and modernized asset performance management. There are many in the market, not only our, but as you can see, you need to select a composable. Which means composable is an asset performance management that reflects your needs of today, but also the needs of the future. And that's what I mean with composable. I mean that you can scale your solution by adding additional modules, by reshaping the modules in a way that you can get more value. In terms of module, let me highlight which are the main outcomes normally in an asset performance management, which those outcomes normally translates in a dollar value for our end customer. To mitigate the risk with the best cost possible. On the health picture is mainly productivity and prioritization of the maintenance activity. Being able to perform whatever is planned. Reliability is very much availability and actually failure elimination. And finally, mechanical integrity is all about being considered competitive. Markets, heavy industries have a big impact on the emission. I can tell you in the Europe, US market, already the carbon footprint of companies is a determinant CapEx, is a determinant factor to afford. And so that's the product that we have developed in order to optimize your carbon footprint. It's a product that is not only collecting the data about your emissions, scope 1, but also the indirect emissions, auditing purposes, for auditing reports, for any kind of ESG reports. And finally, most important than anything else, is helping you to strategize the carbon footprint, short-term and long-term. Short-term, an example could be how I dispatch my power plants, my fleet of power plants, so to minimize my carbon footprint tomorrow, when there are certain conditions, weather conditions, there are certain market conditions. Long-term, it could be which is the impact from an economic point of view on an investment like a carbon capture investment, and what could be the impact also from a carbon footprint point of view. How much CO2 are going to save and how much is that going to cost. That's what is serious about, or any other carbon footprint tracker that is available in the market. Where we are innovating mainly on artificial intelligence, both on automated inspection and monitoring, on predictive maintenance, and in many other areas, but mainly on those two. Artificial intelligence is definitely a new frontier that we are working on, and we are embedding our solution with that capability. Another capability, which is a branch of artificial intelligence, is the computer vision, very useful for the inspections. And also here we are investing, and I believe that these two technologies are the most, let's say, actual today in order to increase the competitiveness and the reliability of the plant. To conclude, let me give you a snapshot of what could be the outcome for heavy industries by adopting digital. Digital is easily payback. Digital has a fast payback. Digital has a return of investment which is less than 4 months in some cases. Those are some of the outcomes that our customers have received. You can, have accomplished segment by segment, right? And you can see that the numbers are significant. If you apply this number to a balance sheet, you're going to get a lot of money out of it, and the return, and with a good return of investment. So it's worthy to invest in digital. Sometimes when I need to investment, which is how much savings you are losing by not doing that investment. With that, I would like to mention that we are again, I would like to thank you for the time you have given to me. And feel free.
Much, Anthony, for
Спасибо, Энтони, большое.
force. We truly appreciate. And the next.
Elvira, please tell us about the energy, tell us about the digital solutions that you deliver today. Dear forum participants, dear panelists, that's a great pleasure for me to meet you today. I'd like to talk to you about a company that acts as the system operator of the United Energy System of the Republic of Kazakhstan. KIGAK is 325 overhead power lines with the total length of capacity of 39 gigawatt amperes. These are the assets for 1 trillion tenge, 4.5 thousand people in interdepartmental branches in our country, and KIGAK branch is the national dispatch center of the system operator. KIGAK as a system operator provides services for the transmission of power, energy, electricity, the generation of electricity, and since July last year, with the introduction of new model, we also provide services for the use of the national electronic power grid. The company has the long-lasting strategy for 10 years to define strategic goals considering the global trends related to the energy transition, decarbonization, and introduction of the digital solutions. And the purpose of our work is to provide the reliable functioning of the energy system of Kazakhstan with the energy transition upon the introduction of the state-of-art and innovative technology with the smart grid. And smart grid is our strategic goal. Based on the development of the digital solutions, we also performed a number of projects for digital transformation that allowed us not only to improve the energy management system, but also to enjoy the economic impact for the technology for the company itself. I'd like to talk about some of them today. The first project is the centralized process of emergency preventive automatics. So when there is an emergency, how the system should respond, how it works. And all my projects, the projects that I'm talking about today, are designed in such a way how it was before and what has been done. So we accomplished this project in 2020. Once we digitalized this process of emergency preventive automatics, they only protected the restricted sections, limited one, and dispatch personnel in the dispatch center made calculations of different modes of which situations in emergency may occur once or twice a year, and then passed this information to the operations center, and people set the modes in a manual normal mode, how the system should behave in certain emergencies. And once we centralized this system, all the devices of emergency preventive automatics, they receive the information from telemetry from the database, and they know how to respond in a particular situation. Before, there used to be different regimes and databases, and now the system defines whatever takes place outside, how to respond in a particular emergency. The next project is the automated regulation of the frequency and power. As I told, we are in charge of the automation of electricity, and sometimes it happens that the production is more than consumption, or the consumption is growing and the production is not enough. Just to manage the balance in the energy efficiency, the team of the dispatcher have behaved the following way. The dispatcher center has people that give instruction for the decrease or increase, and they go to regional networks and then to the station, depending on what sector it is. It happened almost over the phone. After introducing this system, everything was balanced, and now it is done in the dispatch center itself, and the teams automatically get in touch with the system to which they are connected. In any case, in the peak hours, we are regulated by the procured energy from the Russian Federation, but we saved the time span within which the dispatcher center may go to the generation, to the power plant itself. This is not only about the generation of the system, but in 2 years we saved 16 billion KZT, and that's an outstanding figure for such an energy plant like ours. The next system is the monitoring system based on the synchro-fast technology. So this is about the sustainability of the grid and the maximum use of the throughput capacity at the grid. Like I told you, in the automated devices, the network was installed and configured, and sometimes when there are emergencies, they didn't know always how to respond, and everything was done manually. But given the fact that we have introduced this system that allows the monitoring of the system and manages it, we can now supervise everything in a real-time mode, and the reserve for sustainability under the manual management. Now it is pretty flexible, more flexible, and now we can use the capabilities of the substation, and we can regulate everything within the need of consumption, and this can softly increase or reduce the consumption. And this project allows us for the economic benefit, and it gives us the technical benefits too. These are the projects that we have already implemented. We can see the real quantitative and qualitative benefits, and we have also engaged in the modernization of SCADA system, EMS. Within the framework of this project too, we also plan that EMS should use the artificial intelligence of the facilities to forecast the production and the consumption of the energy. We also proceeded with the second phase of once we accomplished this project in 2021. It is in 3 transits, southern, north, south, north, south too. We also activate extra grids, and we also started the pilot project for energy saving. We are performing that together with Chinese companies, and we plan to do at the substation of 500 kilovolts. We will be using lithium-ion batteries up to 5 gigawatts. And when it comes to digital twins and the use of digital substations, we also used the elements of digital substations in order helic of 220 kilovolts that was implemented in 2022. We also plan to start the construction of 500 kilovolts closer to Astana, and we are also calculating how this substation can be digitalized with the use of all possible digital technologies. And these are all the elements of smart grid, and as the system operator we have clearer plans how to introduce this concept, the smart grid concept, and increase the efficiency of the energy system in general. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Elvira. A quick question on WAMS. So how many kilowatt you had there at WAMS section? How many? It's not kilowatts. So we've used 14 substation and we had 40 points of connection. And the second means expansion 21 substations. There were 60 point of connection. So we would step by step cover the whole system. And we have 3 substation. I wanted to ask about the second part also. Thank you very much. And we have Denis Kalazin, who would tell us about information security and what is happening in KPO in this regard. Good afternoon. My name is Denis Kalazin, and I work in Karachaganak Petroleum Operating, and we start speaking about digitalization. The question always stands on the safety. Why? So it would be a view from downside to up. I would tell about integrated cyber security in oil and gas industry. A little bit of context about the company. Karachaganak Petroleum Operating explores oil and gas condensate field, produces around 128 million barrels a year. So the total value capacity, well capacity around 120 producing, and around 20 oil wells of reverse mapping, and we have 3 large producing facility. So respectively, at every facility has business IT, where all the magic is done on working with big data, and we have a cybersecurity unit responsible for that, and our group is responsible for low-level security for OT networks. When we started speaking about that, we were speaking about closed circuits. So as soon as we start speaking about that, it becomes not so closed. Why? We have different teams. So if we look at the priorities in IT, first it's the confidentiality of data. So IT environment is governed in a centralized manner. The equipment is standard and universal. So in this on this pathway, you would have to face that with the disruption of process. The environment is decentralized, and there is an issue with integration that produce control systems and software, and information security toolkit has some limitations in usage. And even if we have a problem with the control system, to modernize it or to replace it, we have to stop the technological process. And usually it may be done. In this case, it could be done only within, only during a special project within every 2 years. So there was a golden rule previously: if something works, don't touch it. In information security, this rule is not applied. If you don't do anything, one way or the other, the system would get compromised. Wireless technologies, and here there's a very important moment when we are speaking about an impact and governance control at dangerous technological lines. We come to the conclusion that wireless technology are not technologically mature. When we gather data, the process is less critical. When we control data and we have a remote access, not from fields, from field network, or if it's somewhere beyond, the risks may become unacceptable. So the data management has its own restrictions. So all data should be brought to OT/DMZ and then get to business level. So respectively, the data should be transferred only from down to, from bottom to top. So our vision on OT safety and is that cybersecurity is a process, not a result. In the support of this process has to be done, and it is done on the level of the CEO and production director. I think it would be a bit weird to see a chief engineer among directors, and that also says about something. And how this support is manifested, it's having our own team of integrators, and also having specialists that we get via outsourcing and outstaffing, and the priorities is given to the areas of high risks. For shaping a uniform approach to the data flows, identification of risks at production site is done regularly. When we are speaking about digitalization before the project, before the initialization, it is important to assess risks, how these decisions would affect particular technological sections. Would this risk increase, or we can leave them in an acceptable zone? For dangerous technological lines, and additional barriers are needed that you cannot affect using software. It's mechanical and electrical barriers. So managing the life cycle of technological systems, all colleagues who are aware of the control system, they know that these systems are designed to work for decades. And the software becomes outdated, and the operation system, it comes quickly. The risks and the threats update every 2-3 years. And it's really important, since people are really an important barrier. If we don't hear about some major breakdowns, all necessary barriers have done their job. Maybe some of them didn't, but sometimes people, they help to prevent this. It is very important to integrate it with the IT and measurement device units, not just responding to incidents, but also at risk assessment. When we've started our journey into a wonderful world of OT security, so we were guided by the NIS-CSF security framework. In the right part of the slide, you may see the layout of barriers. So we prioritized a barrier with peak control on the risk mitigation level, and we've applied existing efficient controls. If in your company this process has just started, you have to prioritize regulating processes, building safety, safe architecture, asset management, and changes. And further phases are highlighted in the yellow and highlighted by yellow and green stars in the diagram. Thank you very much for attention. So with help of this approach, we've managed to build an efficient system for OT safety management with reasonable efforts. Thank you very much for such for such a detailed answers. Dear colleagues, we have 7 minutes left for our session. I have a couple of questions. Along with that, I would like to give the audience a chance so we'd have an interactive session. And so if there are questions from the audience, you're welcome. But first of all, I would like to ask Anthony.
Real quick, one question. So, the overall, you've been working in the industry for a while. You know what's going on around there. So what is the next trends in technology overall in the energy sector? Do you have anything in your mind about it?
Yeah. I see customers, I mentioned a little bit in my presentation, but I see customers working on the generative artificial intelligence, number one. Number two is the computer vision. So using the existing cameras that you have spread across the plant in order to monitor your equipment by having a sequence of images and looking at the difference and in being able to prevent failure thanks to that technology. That's something that we see more and more, and actually we are adopting in our tool so to be to provide more value to our customer. That's one item. So the new technology are there. On the other side, I see a lot of customers that they have started their process in implementing technology, and they are rolling out this technology across the entire organization, entire fleet of plant. So I can see another item, which is data increase. The number of data associated to your plant is going to increase significantly. recently the adoption of IoT sensor has actually increased exponentially the amount of data that you need to manage, but it's also increased exponentially the opportunity to extract value out of those data. And here it's definitely key to invest in applications that are able to extract value from the data that they collect from the field. So, so I will say there are customers that are completing their digital transformation based on what they have already implemented, tested. One key example for me is BHP, metal and mining company in Australia. Those guys start implementing predictive diagnostic mainly for power generation plant, and then they expanding to many other assets like excavators, like trucks, conveyors, and other new assets. So there are expansion, there are new technology. Overall, I can see a trend in increasing the number of data, increasing the opportunity, and I would say heavy industries is really the market that is investing fast because the return of investment is significant.
Thank you, that's solid, appreciate it. Olga Dmitrievna, у вас вот
Olga Dmitrievna, so indeed, Rosatom is one of the key players in the industry. You have really good IT sensors during construction. You have these data and you play with them. So is there any prediction? Do you have an AI? Probably. I used all trendy, fashionable words in my question. You know, we apply AI technologies, but so far. So it's I would say that's a small focus activity, you know. So we apply technology so that are automatically generate protocol. We apply technologies, AI technologies for estimate processing to extract automatic extraction of data from the drawings. So I can name a lot of areas where it is already applied, but so far I can't tell that we are generally, you know, holistically are governing the processes with AI. It takes time. We need to accumulate data and train on the bits and pieces of these processes. I think it will take us several years to get there, but we're still on this journey. Thank you very much, dear audience. If you have any questions, please, you're welcome. If not, then I have one question of a general character to you, Amadzholovich, and maybe Denise would also answer. So in the industry sector, we're chasing the digitalization of processes, and we sometimes forget about security, be it informational or cybersecurity. So in this regard, what are you doing safety-wise, security-wise? I wouldn't say that's a difficult question. It's a sensitive question. You know, the question is, what issues are we dealing with in terms of security? As in any large company, I mean, with large oil and gas production, with huge data volume, of course, we have security service, and we are being trained how to behave, what information should not be disclosed. I can't even tell something, even right now, something that I shouldn't. And when you are in the office, any information exchange with external sources, we have particular rules and policies in place. I think we don't have any major problems in this respect, but like many others, we have issues with phishing when incoming emails. Well, but that depends on the employees' behavior, how prepared they are. And generally, it's, I would say, on more or less standard level. Maybe you have something to add, Denise. Yes, I would add a little bit. Thing is, I think that colleagues are constantly dealing with the issue of the industrial equipment outdating, like controllers, SCADA, DCS. I think any digitalization project should have a proper design phase. So all risks should be analyzed. All opportunities of impacting the technological processes. One should always ask if the business level would be compromised, intermediate level between the factory and the demilitarized zone, and if these people would get to the controllers, and then you would have to shut down power supply to a facility or maybe to a number of facilities. In oil and gas, depending on the design, if there are barrier methods and incident may be localized, for example, with the mechanical membrane valves, in particular situations, if there are there isn't any compensation measures, it may get to an explosion. It's all risk-based, factually. So if a risk is less than reward, you have to do something else. You have to prepare a production site, you have to prepare upgrades, and you have to move further to your goal. The goal is not to stop it, not to stop automation, is to do it properly. Thank you. Thank you very much, dear colleagues, dear speakers, and the audience. I think we are within the timeline. So once again, thank you, everyone. I think we've disclosed from the point of view of the governance and international experience and locally what's happening down on Earth. So I think we would see you at our forum. So as Situation Analytical Center, we are holding a Digital Energy Forum. We've had it this year with the SMD Global EPAM, where we've had major players coming, and this year we're planning to have it this autumn, so we're waiting everyone. I would like to add just a couple of words. When there was a suggestion to form this panel session, we've tried to pick representatives from different sectors, system operators, oil and gas, nuclear energy, and to pick subjects so that would be interesting, multifaceted, and I hope that presentations were interesting. In any case, I would like to thank you for your time, and I would like to thank the representatives of the companies. We would continue our bilateral meetings and cooperation. In any case, your experience as leaders as leaders of your industries, as holders of best practices and international organizations is of utmost importance to us. And the Situation Center, this year we have planned to complete organization of Situational Center that would work based on digital data. I think that Adilhan's question regarding information security is quite interested, and I hope that we would do it properly. So we'll gather data with the provision of security, and as Aldehan has said, at the end of the year, at another traditional event on digital energy, we will present our results. So it would be our public declaration. So we would meet at the end of the year with particular results. Thank you very much.
You can change the world around you starting now. For example, buy a car in a day and give it to a close one. Or move into a new apartment where everyone will have their own room. Or start your own business and change other people's lives. Freedom Bank. Time to change. You can change the world around you starting now. For example, buy a car in a day and give it to a close one. Or move into a new apartment where everyone will have their own room. Or start your own business and change other people's lives. Freedom Bank. time to change. You can change the world around you starting now. For example, buy a car in a day and give it to a close one. Or move into a new apartment where everyone will have their own room. Or start your own business and change other people's lives. Freedom Bank, time to change.
Добрый день, уважаемые гости.
Dear friends, dear colleagues, I think we can get started. Thank you very much. And we have an interesting topic. Today we will discuss the Internet of Things and related devices, smart cities, and future mobility. So today we have a pretty interesting, intriguing panel session, very brilliant guests. Let me welcome them. The first speaker is the entrepreneur from Kazakhstan with his brother Karat. They started public road safety, the famous Surrogate since 2018. After that, the project of the brothers spread across 8 cities of Kazakhstan, and now you are expanding to the new market. And our next speaker is Dana Shakarbayeva, the co-founder of Kala AI startup, which is an innovation format. She is a certified ESG professional, ecologist, geologist, and I think your talk will also be very interesting. We also have some guests from abroad. Andrei Tian, our third speaker, he is the Deputy General Director for IT company Big 3, and today he will present the platform in the environmental sector. First is Yandex Go. Some are Yandex Go scooters. We see the way how these scooters are part of our daily life, and we will be happy to listen to you. Next speaker is Dmitry Panchenko. Dmitry Panchenko has a very huge experience in IT sector. He's the graduate of Stanford University. In the sphere of development of intellectual surveillance system, he is the CEO of Alexei, and recently he was appointed Counselor CEO IPAN. We also have the development director of Wave IoT, is the Kazakh company since 2018, has been developing and introducing new IoT technologies. I think it would be appropriate to start with the transport topic. Today we have 2 presentations in this regard. Tamerlan, I think the floor is yours. Thank you very much, Aljas. Well, thank you. If the presentation is on. Well, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. That's a great pleasure for me that we got together today to discuss our future cities mobilities. Me as a Yandex Go Samakat services, I'd like to highlight the importance of the mobility through the prism of sharing electronic scooters or sharing in general. Let me start. A small glitch. Can you press it? Okay, it goes on. Okay. Kick sharing scooter gravity track is the last mile best option because it decreases the traffic load for the distance of several kilometers. According to mobility data, with sharing scooters, more than 14 million people were transported with the use of push scooters. More than 14 million people with push stand-up scooters were transported, which is comparable with the passenger traffic of Almaty subway line. The advantage of kick sharing scooters over personal transport is that you can control the areas, the location, and the fleet of vehicles. And they are good for people because there is no need to buy a personal scooter and serve it, and there is no need to transport it. There is no need to find the parking, to provide maintenance and encounter other difficulties as compared to your personal vehicle. The unbeatable advantage for people is the independence from the traffic jams in the city, and the advantage is the best prices for short distances. When it comes to the environment, I think that's no point of talking about it. The electronic scooters are environmental friendly transport. Let's consider previous topics. 14 million transports for 2023. Just imagine that every trip was 2 kilometers long, and we get 28 million passenger kilometers. And now let's think how much CO2 emissions were reduced by using the shared scooters, and by our modest estimation is 5,600 tons of CO2 emissions that we managed to save by using e-scooters. Well, I think I managed to explain shortly why scooters are a good thing, and now let's gradually turn to the point why Almaty is a perfect city for micromobility and scooters in particular, because the population is high. The population of more than 2 million people and high construction density. The scooters is not for the pleasure, for fun, but can be used in transport scenarios. More than 90% of trips that we record in our service are the transport trips and not for the amusement. For more than 500,000 cars go along our city daily. So in the peak hours, the most simple way is make a choice to the scooters and not to stand in traffic jams. Another important indicator is the frequency of trips that increased from 22 to 23, twice from 7 to 14 million. At the same time, the number of sharing scooters increased only by 30%. What it means? This means that the demand increased higher than the offer. It demonstrates the thesis. At the same time, what I just mentioned is that these scooters have become an integral part of the transport mobility of the city. And now I'd like to express my huge gratitude to Almaty, that Almaty is a flagship in terms of developed infrastructure for mobile transportation. Now, as of today, 90 kilometers of cycling lanes have been powered for the micromobility transport. I know that the city plans to increase these indicators many times. We have the plan just to increase twice or thrice the road infrastructure. Everything would not be possible unless the appropriate dialogue is established between us and kick-sharing companies, between the specialized institution and us. And just a small spoiler, we are on the final stage of the memorandum signature with the profile institutions for the development of road infrastructure of the city. And now I'd like to highlight one thing again, that you cannot develop the micromobility alone without the safety factor. The safety is ensured by the city with the use of infrastructure, and the safety is also ensured by us as a kick-sharing company. And now I'd like to briefly outline what Yandex scooters, Yandex Samokat are doing. Just imagine last year we started in Almaty for the first time the in-house scooter. The Almaty was VIN40. The innovations that are used in our scooter makes the scooter safer along. So the advantage of this scooter is that this is the only scooter that has double amortization in the front and in the back, and the scooter has the higher clearance, especially when there are some curbs. And the key advantage number 3 is that it has special deck forms that not allow the scooter to be used more than one people. And last year we also spent 7 schools of driving for citizens of Almaty, where we trained 5,000 city residents with the skills of safety scooter driving. I'd like to stress that this year we will continue all our educational initiatives with a higher range. One of the advantages of our work we can be proud of is that our citizens are have the possibility of expanded insurance. Number one, and number two, the peculiarity of kick sharing scooters, that we can define the maximum speed limit we can provide for allocated lanes, and Almaty is a resident mayor allocated special zone given the density. And briefly, this is it from my side. I hope I managed to explain why the mobile transport is an important milestone, is an important thing to develop. Thank you very much. Let's be in touch. Thank you very much, Timurlan, for your presentation. So my question is, how could we manage and how could we overcome the big number of traumas and injuries related to the scooters? Let me highlight one important thing. There is a real-life statistics of traumas and accidents, and indeed this statistics is pretty positive. Well, that's a bad thing, of course, but if we see the growth of the trips increased twice and thrice since 2001. It has an exponential growth, but at the same time the number of accidents with electronic scooters decreased twice. If we look at the statistics shared by us, 57 accidents in 2021 and 5 in 15 in 2022. The decrease is twice. Double decrease. I mean, people know how to drive. People gain culture. It used to be something new, but now the scooters become an inherited part of the traffic of the traffic rules. Well, even children start trying these small push physical scooters, and they got used to enjoy the mobility. And our next speaker is Dmitry. Indeed, Dmitry helped a lot and contributed to the video surveillance system of Almaty city, to which 30,000 cameras are connected. It was done for the first time in Kazakhstan. We know Dima pretty well, and today we asked him to talk about the mobility in particular. Okay, Dima, the floor is yours. Thank you very much, Aljas. Thank you very much, dear guests, who, despite of such late time, stay with us. I hope this section will be interesting. And let me make it a little bit interactive. Okay, just tell me, please, who order food delivery to your homes? Raise your hands. Almost everyone. Okay, cool. And one thing, who encountered the problem as a pedestrian or the pedestrian or delivers, who drives the scooters to deliver food? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there are around 2 dozens of people, and others are the car drivers, I think. Okay, unfortunately there is an issue with the rollers. They have engines that contaminates the environment. They are pretty loud, and this gasoline scooters are used, these gasoline bikes are used just a cost-effective means to deliver something from point A to point B. There are more than 50,000 vehicles like that, and at the same time the messengers earn pretty well. I wouldn't say that they are poor people, but unfortunately there are accidents, traffic accidents with the lethal outcome. outcomes because sometimes they don't meet, but not sometimes, they never meet the traffic rules. An important factor is that the messengers rent these bikes. This is not about purchasing but renting. They are being rented weekly or daily. And why bikes? The bikes are more convenient than the bicycles. The bicycle may seem better from the health standpoint, but bikes are more confident. That's why the idea came to our mind. What can be done about them? They are very loud. They are not environmental friendly, and probably if you can't manage the situation, rule it. Maybe this can be the case for Almaty, and we can transfer the responsibility for the bike leasing to some private operator. The electronic bikes, the electronic bikes and gasoline bikes, and introduce IT solutions such as telemetry, video surveillance cameras, such as camcorder as an opportunity. So what's the opportunity of it? It requires the infrastructure. If we replace the dual wheels by gasoline bikes with the bicycles, probably you will need the charging station or the batteries for the messenger to replace the battery or to charge it pretty fast. When you use the telemetry, you can regulate the behavior of the messengers themselves. But I'm pretty confident that some unskillful and some unconscious drivers of the scooters are deactivated from the system, and the telemetry will allow you to track the messenger to get it fined or to deactivate him from the services. But when it comes to the city infrastructure, I think it will be more convenient and easier to control everything if you have the telemetry. And it also contributes to the environment too. Well, when it comes to the long-lasting advantages, I think they are there, and there is also the city operator, the urban operator, and there are also the zones. This is the drawing of this business from the gray zone, because all those vehicles are given for lease, unofficially decrease the number of accidents and improve the environmental situation in the city by introducing the electronic fleet of vehicles. And there are some precedents, some cases, because in Moscow, Beijing, you will never find the gasoline bikes in the delivery services. All of them are replaced 100% with electronic ones, and the operators should invest money in the infrastructure to make it happen. And it may seem as a clear development, and sometimes it's pretty challenging for the government and the police, traffic police, to control the bikes, because sometimes that's a funny situation when the policeman tries to stop the delivery bike, but you cannot stop it because he doesn't have the nameplate on the back. And additionally, as a person from the video surveillance and CCTV in sector, we get the benefit, which is that the bikes can be equipped with the camcorders and cameras to investigate the car accidents happen to the messengers, because normally they leave the scene of crime, so to say, when they hit a car, when they kick someone, when they crash a person, they will hide. But telemetries, camcorders are not this expensive solution. The list of these criminals can be easily submitted to the police department to work with them. And this is the idea itself, and this is the solution. I think the city can consider this cooperation offer, because as a matter of fact, it is about the development development of the business related to the renting of scooters. The scooters are a little bit different devices for another target audience, like B2C or C2B, whatever can be the name. And that is it from my side. Thank you very much for staying until late time.
Thank you very much, Dmitry. Our next speaker, Asset. We know that Sergey is about cameras, CCTV, that is. Everybody knows that, but I think there are other solutions in the field of improving the traffic in our city. Asset, the floor is yours. Good afternoon, dear guests. I'm really glad to see you all here. I would like to tell you about the side of the project, of Sergey project, that really isn't obvious looking at it from some distance, and I don't think that many are aware that Sergey is not just a camera on the road that issue a fine. It's quite a big ecosystem that includes around 6-7 large products, both from a regular CCTV and special systems for police officers, like on tablet. And such a product that I would like to tell you about is Sergey ITS. It's basically a system that counts, performs an analysis and forecasting of traffic flows on urban scale, and this system allows city services, city management to make quite important decisions to optimize city traffic. Here I wanted to show you some numbers behind it. So as of today, in Almaty, we have around 30 million events a day, which is big data. If we pick 300 days, it's more than 1 billion events. And we have way over 1 billion today. And based on these events, we're making quite important calculations, like on average in Almaty, we have 647 unique units, 647,000 unique vehicles, and we separate regular transport and transit vehicles. So around 100,000, of course, our transit. So based on these deep anonymized data, that's 29,000 of them are taxi, but it's a taxi with a star. These are not just taxis, but also couriers, delivery service. So there are specific patterns of movement that give us a hint that these cars are involved in taxi service, or they perform delivery services. And based on these patterns, we understand that these vehicles, for example, are buses. It's simply based on their movement pattern. Of course, we can use image and we see a huge green bus, but based on the character of movement, we see that this is basically a route transport that follows the route strictly by timeline, and on one route, on and on. So we make a conclusion that this is public transport, probably a bus. And an interesting information here is also that based on a number of trips, as I have already said before, that average number of kilometers, 1 million kilometers a day, that is done by the total vehicle number of vehicles in Almaty. So it's 27 million kilometers. So this is being generated by all by all vehicles in the city. So based on these data, quite serious conclusions can be made. What can we take from this? We can identify an average number of kilometers per vehicle. So an average Almaty resident, coming from home, going to home, runs around 31 kilometers. So average daily run of autobuses is almost 540,000 kilometers. If we break it down by 2,500 and by number of buses, so it's around 200 kilometers a day. That's the average trip for a bus. What's interesting is that the output, the volume, the number of incoming vehicles. So it's 18% of all unique transports. So and at this, it generates more kilometers than city residents. So vehicles which came from out of city, on average, they drive more kilometers. So it provides specific data. How many buses should be put to have to help people travel all over city, and how much space can we relieve, and how many lanes would be made free for vehicles to move. And these data are really quite valuable, since before you start dealing with any problem, it's very important to make measurements, and this is what we are trying to help you with. So this is what is derived from data that would further on be needed to keep order on the roads, but this is quite an important derivative, and I think it's even more valuable, and these data are really important for the city as well as the order on the roads. So generally, I wanted to tell about Sergey ITS product. It has a huge data volume. I don't want to take much of the time. I think that everyone understands that the cities are becoming smarter and smarter, and we are starting to read letters to measure the problems before we start tackle them. And I think together with the city administration, we can make our cities more smart. Thank you very much, dear Asad. So currently, we have around several hundreds of Sergey sets installed. I think it will help us to build more smart, more intelligent transport management system. We talk a lot about ecology, being in Almaty, and the project to make the vehicle and transport more environmental friendly. And I think now is the time to give the floor to Andrei. Please, Andrei, the floor is yours. Could you share with your vision? Yes, dear colleagues, good afternoon. Thank you very much for invitation, and it's really an honor for me to be invited here. And I would like for the organizers to turn on the presentation if it's possible. Yes, the presentation, the big three, right. Thank you. Yes. All right, now I would like to speak about ecology and the industry of processing waste. And I think it's not a secret to anybody that regardless of how much we would talk about smart cities and would have futuristic pictures in our mind, the problem with waste would be still relevant for any point on the map, on any region. And it is important to note here that according to any definition of a smart city, one of the main parts of it is smart, technologic, and ecologic processing of waste. So this is sort of a bridges between some breakthrough technologies and which are quite relevant, and between the relevant everyday needs of citizens. I would like to draw attention to the numbers on this slide, and I think everyone understands the gravity of the problem, and it's really as high as on Mount Everest. And I'd like to draw attention that waste, so the correct processing of waste, is one of the goals of sustainable development that has been declared by the United Nations. And it is clear that this problematics. Next slide. For some reason, it's missing. I apologize for. So next slide. Next slide should have had information on what is the volume, market volume, on various software and hardware on waste processing. We're speaking about dozens, billions of dollars a year. What do we do? So in our company we have vast experience. So for now in the market of Russia, but we want to, and we are ready to transfer it to other cities and countries. In our company, we are focused on both in B2B and B2G segments, and the main focus of those solutions is to process wastes. And process wastes at all stages, starting with accumulating wastes. So like how legal entities discard waste to dump facilities, and then they're being delivered to processing facilities. And we've started our path in 2016 approximately. And it just so happened that this year in Russia, two reforms were started. On the one hand, so first was the reform on processing waste, and firstly solid wastes that we all discard, or what business units do, for example, catering facilities. And second, on a national and federal level, Smart City program has been adopted. What was waste processing industry at the point? We've studied experience of neighboring countries and of countries of far abroad, and we see a lot of similarities. So this is absolutely, so basically this is a gray market in most respects, where national policy is present on waste processing. There are some standards. On the other hand, one way or the other, there are some organizations that are involved in processing wastes, but all this is completely non-transparent. Not a single entity or agency has the information how many wastes, how much waste is accumulated, and where it ends up. How many wastes is basically recycled. Since the market entry is quite crazy, so for new players it's quite difficult to enter the market. So same old faces are doing it for the money that are hardly being measured and counted properly, are doing that, and we have huge economic damage as well as environmental damage as well. So we've decided to go step by step, starting from general and getting to specifics, and we've developed a number of products which, on the one hand, are basically doing planning of waste recycling. On the other hand, they provide new market for the players. So in this respect, you see slide here. We have developed smart waste application that helps any organization that produces waste and wants them to be discarded or to conclude a long-term contract. It can apply a request, and in the auction format, the transportation companies can provide their quotes, and the applicant can pick one who suggested the most profitable solution. Also, the operators of waste processing facilities who are either ready to accept wastes for processing or to store waste are registered in the system in a similar way and publish data as of how much capacity they have. And the system, knowing the location of waste accumulation, calculates the cost of transportation, approximate cost, and calculates the tariff for the facility. So it's quite transparent. We eventually get quite transparent market with quite clear pricing, and every organization or institution with appropriate licenses and access can enter the market with a respective proposal. This is how new markets, new players enter the market. So this is the scheme I was speaking about, from waste producers to delivery companies and waste processors. So electronic settlements based on the acceptance certificates signed in the system. Further on, there is quite a huge system, which is quite. So there's an automated system for waste management. So basically, there are three major components in it. On the one hand, so this is an interface example. On the one hand, this is a system for full electronic document circulation system of waste processing operator, for example, transportation company. On the other hand, this is a system for operating control. So operator is always aware where the vehicles are, and if a particular regulatory standards are accepted, like basically in Moscow, the process of waste processing may be traced by the authorities, so they can see how these money are working by the contract, based on contract concluded. And thirdly, so this is a system with quite comprehensive and complex algorithms that allows knowing the waste processing locations, waste processing facilities location. They can build routes with quite complex algorithms, and they have been tested in dozens of regions of Russian Federation so far, and I'm hoping that it would not limit to just that.
Besides that, there is also the general part. The general thing that we were driven by is the sector planning system. That's not a secret that the planning process is difficult itself, and it's related to a big number of calculation, and not every region, not every state can relying on their in-house facilities of the different department or the specialized authorities to create an optimum system. That's why we developed a system where you can enter the inputs as well as the plans. For example, we have an information where the landfills are, and we know that in 2 years we will build the garbage sorting facilities cities, and we will choose the most optimum way to transport the waste, how much it would cost, both in the aspect of the facilities as well as the garbage treatment. So this system allowed us in more than 50 entities of Russia to build such plants, and they have been regulated, and they are transported to unfortunately we are limited in time. Your platform is pretty interesting, and I think we need to take a detailed look at it because it's a very relevant topic for Almaty. Okay, and our next speaker will be Dana Shakirbaeva, and I forgot to add that she's the expert of the Academy Cartier Women Initiatives. Today she will talk about the Resilience Cities platform. Well, thank you very much. Meanwhile, my presentation is being open. Okay, now it works well. Well, thank you very much for all who decided to join this session. I will try to make a little bit interactive our section. I think people are a little bit tired. Resilient City platform is Kalai with the city data analysis for the creation of resilient cities. What the resilience means. The cities go from the concept of sustainable concepts towards risks management concepts. Some of the cities, what we can see in the post-pandemic times, the resilience becomes the vivid topic, and this topic is being discussed during the UN Climate Change Conference as well as in the Davos Economic Forum, and we decided to take this concept as the core one to develop our platforms for the cities. And as we delve into the topic, we can see that the problems that are inherent to Almaty and other cities appear for the simple reason that there is not enough data and not enough interpretation of the data to understand where the problems are and the cause and effect issues related to those problems. And what you can see in the slides, we try to address this issue to assist city administration, municipalities and other decision makers in the city sphere, in the urban dimension. We provide different analytics for the city in various comprehensive issues. Our complex solution has some components. First is the index of the city's resilience, the readiness of the city to respond, risks that include social, economic, and environmental risks on a platform solution. The cities have long ago moved aside from Young Gale City Festival towards another story, this healthy city, the city where healthy people are living. The city is ready to take risks, the city that is ready to respond timely and create not only the festives or commercial areas, but we are creating the healthy city. We have many sources of data, some proprietary data, telecom, GPS, GIS, as well as remote sensing satellite images that we know how to digitalize and turn them into digital copies. And of course the IoT, which is the topic of our session. And just to showcase how it works, you can use our platform to see the city, the district, towards down to the yard level in Gekson Canal grid. You will not only see the resilience but also the particular metrics. Our platform consists of sub-indexes with 50 indicators, so that the decision maker, the head of the city, would see the particular location of a hazard, the focus of the hazard. And if you talk about the sub-indexes, you can see 5 sub-indexes, indices out there, and we moved forward, and we analyze not only the social structure as the basic tool kit, but we also try to highlight the inequality, urban health and population health dimensions and other emerging trends within our approach. Here you can see in a nutshell how we can use these sub-indices to examine the city, and you can also use our platform. You can use the indices and sub-indices. You can see altogether the human capital or population health or single sub-indices where you can see the potentially hazardous areas. And we also have the commercial story with the sub-index of commercial spaces, and our platform allows developer to understand where more people are residing with the good purchasing power and give active birth. And in 5 years, those parents will require, for example, private schools, and such B2B services are also provided, and we also provide the solutions that can be applied for commercial purposes too. We also consider other interesting metrics where we can apply them. For example, we know where the earthquakes in Almaty took place, and we collected the chronology of the tectonic cracks, and we found the potentially hazardous buildings, and with the help of mobile operators we realized how many people are actually living in the hazardous areas, and they are highlighted in the map. Or, for example, the heat island of the city. For example, if you are located in the close to asphalt, you feel that asphalt is getting extremely hot. Actually, it emits the microdispersive particles that are pretty hazardous for kids, and our children inhale these substances, and we created the indices that can be very useful for different audiences, for different businesses to choose the metrics that are right for them. Well, if we consider our further movements, we will of course use the machine learning predictive opportunities to find and predict the relationship within the indices. We prepared the correlation analysis, and we found that in Almaty case there are some inobvious links when one metric affects the other, and this thing allows us to further monitoring that the growth or decline of certain metrics can negatively or positively impact another indicator. Our story started during the pandemic actually. The company used to have a different name, and we created for Almaty city administration. We were awarded with Smart City Absolute Prize, and the city administration was awarded with this award in Seoul. I just want to skip all those awards, and we are the delivers of this code, and you can use the QR code to download the white paper. We analyzed Almaty city, and in this white paper you can see everything that you can be interested about the city, and I think it will be useful for you as the resident of the most beautiful city on the planet. Thank you. Thank you very much, Dana. Well, actually all cities should aspire to the fact to set and follow the new trend, which is the new normality. Okay, our next speaker is Shamil. He's the head of the development of AFIO, smart metering devices. Please, the floor is yours. Hello everyone, thank you very much for organizing such an outstanding event. Well, yes, I work in this company for 3 years now. The company has been there for 3 years. Vivid Asia is the affiliate of Index Group. I just wanted to briefly highlight of what we are doing over the past 7 years, and want to cite all the facts related to IoT. IoT is a network of physical devices that share information in between with the use of of different communication protocols. In IoT, as you can see it in here, there are different areas. There are also colleagues from our side. Yes, our niche is concentrated on the smart metering. Smart metering is about smart devices, the devices that meter the consumption of certain resources like water or electricity. I think, to put it simply, the meters. So why this smart metering is needed? First, it's needed to diminish the costs because they are precious, diminish the losses, and we needed to keep them in mind because water, electricity, gas are our precious resources. And another thing is that these technologies allow to considerably decrease the CO2 emissions because these household resources should be generated in a certain way. These are our products that we promote. Just have a look, for example, in every device has the embedded modem. You can see the apartment planning where the smart water or gas sensors are installed, and after that these devices send the information to our base stations that are called VFI, that is translated as miracle confidentiality. These are the energy efficient grid of a long range. They can serve 50 kilometers in the city, 5 to 10 kilometers, and this is the way we cover cities. We installed base stations, the antennas, and cover everything. This is the geography where we work. We work in 16 cities. Our headquarters is located in Astana, and there is a core business in Astana. For us, Almaty is an interesting place. We have been working here for a long time. We have digitalized 12 residential complexes. In addition to the electricity, we also engaged in IoT networks and telecom solutions. To make it all happen, we develop the cloud software and we integrate it with other systems. We are also engaged in the sales. We don't forget our clients. So that's why the warranty and servicing our clients is extremely important. These are different IoT solutions, and we are concentrated in the smart city solutions, energy, and this is pretty almost it. And there's just a few numbers over this years. The company installed 450,000 smart sensors, around 150,000 digitalized flats, and this is at least 500 complexes. As far as we know, when it comes smart metering, these are the core indicators, and 16 cities are covered. Actually, we try to promote the smart water and electricity consumption of all those resources, and in fact, I believe it to be the most greeny and ESG intensive topic, and I think we are among the smart players. We were the first awarded with the certificate that we passed cyber security compliance, and we gave our standard the protocol of PFI as the national standard. Well, actually, that is it. Our presentation is just the getting to know our presentation, and we didn't invest that much in the marketing side, and we will be happy to accept any solution or any offer from your side, and I hope that with joint efforts we will digitalize the utility sector. Well, thank you very much for that. Well, today we have discussed various topics from the scooters to the platforms, resilient supply platforms. I think all people are tired today. It is 6:30 p.m. now. Dear speakers, thank you very much for such interesting presentation. Dear guests, thank you very much for staying with us until the end. So we will have another full-fledged day tomorrow. See you tomorrow then. Goodbye.